Hey everybody, Dr. Dave Marquis here, and I came across a couple of slides that were talking about the industry at large. And when I'm talking about the industry right now, I'm talking about the pharmaceutical industry. And it was talking about the interplay between the governing body of drug regulation, which is the FDA, and pharmaceutical companies, and how there's such a marriage between the two in terms of who worked for what company and how they keep getting positioned in different roles of leadership and monetarily benefiting from their different roles on each side of that fence. And I look back in time and I recognize that the FDA originally had a great construct. You know, it was designed there to protect us as American citizens from adverse drug reactions and food to make it safer for us. I mean, how could you argue with that premise? And it was completely funded by our tax dollars. It was not something that, at least on the outset, you would think that it could be manipulated. Well, today in 2022, we have 45% of the funding for the FDA coming from the pharmaceutical industry. And that literally does create a conflict of interest. And if we're not asking that question, like, how is that happening and we're still getting reliable information? Because over that period of time where it went from public funded to private funding, we've seen a shift where a pharmaceutical agent would generally take between 5 and 8 years to come to approval, to something that we can expedite through payments from the actual company that's seeking the approval for an expedited review. Well, some things just take time. I can't expedite having a baby come out of the womb. I can't expedite gaining the information necessary to get my 10,000 hours to be competent in my profession. There's certain things that we just have to do to know that we've crossed all the T's and we've dotted all of our I's and we have something now that is safe to produce. Now that organization, the FDA, has had some wins in the past, many that have been beneficial for us. But I really question now their reliability and validity for us and who they're actually protecting. So here's my challenge. When you're in a spot where the TV's on, because I'm not advocating going out to watch TV, but if you happen to be in front of one that has basically any live media on, you're gonna find some drug ads popping up there. And if you happen to be maybe watching a game, you're watching a football game on TV, you're gonna have some drug ads pop up there. Count how many you see. And then when it gets to that part where they start talking really, really fast and they have the script pop out at the bottom sometimes because they can't talk as fast as they need to list all of the side effects, see if you can nail down what all the side effects are for those drugs. And kind of make a running tab in your mind of how many drugs you're hearing, how many side effects you're hearing, and what that drug actually does for somebody. And then I want you to think to yourself, how many food ads have I also seen on this from fast food industry? And then I also want you to think to yourself, what's the governing organization that has approved both of these things that we know aren't producing health for the U.S. citizens? I think you're going to be amazed at how many times we get bombarded with visual and auditory marketing that drives us to make poorer choices for our health and well-being, and then to try and mask the very symptoms that those poor choices led to by a drug. It's really circular, guys. We need to wake up to this and recognize that, yes, the things that don't seem right in this world have a reason behind them. And it's you and I that can change that through our choices, because it all comes down to where we spend our money. Be alert to what you're putting into your eyes and what you're putting into your ears. Somebody once told me that we receive more stimuli from the media in 24 hours than a human being that was raised in the 1500s gets in their entire lifetime, or received in their entire lifetime. Think about the volume of information that we're receiving. That's programming. So protect yourself from programming that is going to lead you to poor choices. And just know what trajectory you're on so that you don't buy into these things that make us sick, and then we end up seeking a drug that makes us sicker typically. I want us to be well. I want us to recognize that we have the power to be well. That's within us. This body is designed for wellness, but we can't make poor choices and expect a good outcome. Think about that, and have a great day.